Right now, before your thoughts rush ahead or try to make sense of everything at once, pause for a moment. What's been bothering you has felt heavy, persistent, and close. So close that it's tried to convince you it's bigger than everything else, but it hasn't been honest with you. The truth is quieter and stronger. You are bigger than what's bothering you, bigger in depth, bigger in resilience, bigger in unseen strength. What you're facing may feel consuming, but it is not consuming you. It is pressing against parts of you that are growing. This moment is not proof of weakness. It is evidence of expansion. What's been weighing on you didn't appear because you're failing. It appeared because you are evolving. Growth always disrupts comfort. When something bothers you deeply, it's often because it touches an old wound, an unspoken fear, or a part of you that's learning how to stand taller. The discomfort is real, but it is not the full story. You are not trapped inside the problem exists within a much larger landscape called your life. And that landscape includes wisdom you haven't used yet, strength you haven't needed yet, and clarity that is already forming beneath the noise. Look closer, not at the problem, but at yourself. Notice how you're still showing up. Notice how you're still thinking, still reflecting, still searching for meaning instead of giving up. That alone reveals something powerful. Whatever is bothering you has not broken your ability to hope, reason, or endure. Even in moments of exhaustion, something inside you refuses to collapse. That quiet refusal is strength. It doesn't shout, it doesn't rush, it simply remains. And anything that remains under pressure is stronger than what's applying the pressure. The mind often exaggerates what threatens it. It loops, replays, and magnifies until a single issue feels like the entire world. But problems are temporary shapes. They shift, shrink, and dissolve as perspective changes. You, however, are not temporary. You are layered with experience, memory, lessons survived, and battles already won. If you've overcome things before, and you have, then this moment is not an exception. It is a continuation. The same inner force that carried you through past storms is still present, even if it feels quieter now. You don't need to fight what's bothering you to be bigger than it. You don't need to prove anything, explain anything, or panic your way to relief. Power doesn't come from reacting. It comes from recognizing scale. And when you step back, breathe, and observe, you'll see the truth. This issue occupies a moment, not your identity. It demands attention, not submission. The more still you become, the more obvious it is that you are the constant, and the problem is just passing through. This is where your strength begins to reclaim its space, not by force, but by awareness. You are not here to shrink yourself to fit the problem exists so you can expand beyond it. What's bothering you feels overwhelming, not because it's powerful, but because it has been given too much uninterrupted space in your mind. The mind has a habit of magnifying unresolved things when silence surrounds them. When there are no clear answers yet, the mind fills the gaps with imagined outcomes, worst-case scenarios, and repeated questions that never reach resolution. Over time, this repetition gives the illusion of size. But repetition is not truth. It is just energy moving in circles. The issue hasn't grown stronger. It has simply been replayed more often than anything else. The closer you hold a problem, the larger it appears. When something stays constantly in your thoughts, it feels like it's everywhere, when in reality it's just nearby. Think about how distance changes perspective. Step back from a painting and suddenly what looked chaotic begins to make sense. The same is true here. Your problem is too close to your awareness right now, and closeness creates pressure. Not because you're weak, but because your mind has been staring at the same point for too long without relief. Emotional weight is often mistaken for actual power. Just because something hurts deeply doesn't mean it controls you. Pain speaks loudly, but it doesn't govern outcomes. Many of the most disruptive feelings, fear, doubt, regret, carry intense emotional charge but very little authority over reality. They feel heavy because they touch sensitive places, not because they dictate your future. Uncertainty is one of the greatest amplifiers of distress. When you don't know how something will resolve, your mind tries to protect you by preparing for every possibility at once. This creates mental exhaustion and emotional overload. But preparation without direction turns into anxiety. What you're experiencing is not failure, it's a nervous system searching for safety. And the moment you recognize that, the struggle softens. You don't need every answer right now. You need steadiness, not certainty. Pause and reflect honestly. You have faced moments before that felt unbearable at the time. Moments you once believed would permanently damage you. Yet here you are, still thinking, still learning, still standing. That history matters. It proves that your strength operates out even when you don't feel it. If your past did not break you, then this moment, no matter how intense, does not have the authority to define you either. The moment you stop asking why this is happening to you and start asking what part of you is being strengthened here, the balance shifts. Problems shrink when they lose their emotional dominance. You don't need to eliminate what's bothering you to be bigger than it. You only need to see it accurately. And accuracy restores power. Detachment is often misunderstood as shutting down, becoming cold, or pretending not to care. But true detachment is not disconnection. It is clarity. It means you stop letting something live inside you while still acknowledging that it exists. You don't deny what bothers you. You simply refuse to let it dictate your inner climate. Detachment is choosing not to wrestle with thoughts that only drain you. You can be aware of a problem without being attached to it. Awareness observes. Attachment reacts. Awareness notices patterns, emotions, and triggers calmly. Attachment pulls you into urgency, fear, and mental loops. The moment you slow down and observe instead of engage, the dynamic changes. What once felt controlling begins to lose intensity. Emotional distance is not abandonment, it is protection. When you stay too emotionally close to something painful, your nervous system remains on high alert. Distance allows your inner system to settle. It creates space for reason, intuition, and patience to return. One of the biggest sources of inner pressure is the belief that everything must be resolved immediately. But life doesn't move in instant conclusions, it unfolds in layers. Not every issue requires action right now. Some require rest, some require time. You don't have to harden yourself to protect your peace. Strength doesn't mean becoming numb, it means becoming selective with your attention, your energy, and your emotional investment. Boundaries preserve your softness without exposing you to unnecessary harm. As detachment settles in, something powerful begins to happen. The problem no longer feels personal, becomes situational. And when something stops feeling personal, it stops feeling permanent. Inner calm is not something that arrives after problems disappear. It is a skill practiced in uncertainty. When you stop waiting for life to settle before allowing yourself peace, you realize calm doesn't come from control, it comes from grounding. When worry dominates, the mind races ahead while the body stays behind. Returning to the body through slow breathing and relaxed presence restores safety. Calm begins there. What's often shaken isn't confidence, it's self-trust. But self-trust isn't built by always being right. It's built by knowing you can handle whatever comes next. You are not the season you're in. You are the one moving through it. Stillness is not stagnation. It is composure. It is preparation. Personal power returns quietly, in calmer reactions, in deeper breaths, in no longer replaying the same thoughts. Confidence grows through alignment. When you stop fighting who you're becoming, you no longer seek reassurance the same way. You trust yourself again. Action becomes intentional. Energy becomes protected. Winning becomes quiet, peaceful, internal. At some point you realize something has changed. The thing that once consumed you no longer controls your inner state. You didn't shrink the problem, you expanded yourself. Growth shows up in calm, not noise. The struggle was not an enemy, it was a catalyst. Being bigger is internal. It is awareness, patience, steadiness. You don't need to announce your growth, your calm speaks. And as you move forward, remember this: whatever bothers you today is touching only a surface layer of who you are. Beneath that layer is resilience, wisdom, and an expanding sense of self that cannot be reduced by any temporary challenge. You are bigger than what's bothering you always were. and you are still becoming even bigger.